Well, we are moving forward. We are moving forward with our class, Open Your Mind to Prosperity, the Masterclass. And we completed part one last week. And so we're going to be moving into part two, which is wonderful. And we really only have a few more chapters left. So one of the things that we've been talking about over the past few weeks is this thing moves, right? You can either do the processes and or you can wait, but the beautiful thing is in what 7-8 weeks, right, you can absolutely transform your life in powerful ways if you just continue intentionally to do each thing week to week, week to week, week to week. So we're going to be moving into chapter 8, which is wonderful, and as we are preparing to move into chapter 8, I would love to hear from you all. This question, if you're on YouTube, you see this pinned question. It's a prosperity check-in. Have you noticed new streams of income lately? Interest, gifts, refunds, unexpected money. How are you acknowledging them? Remember, one of the things we talked about last week is that we may be just looking at our expected income, whatever that, our job or the profits from our business, and not realizing that source is giving to us in so many different ways. So have you noticed that this week, and how are you acknowledging them? I think that's very, very, very important. So let's get into, just kind of set up my screen here. Let's get into this chapter, part 2, other ways to demonstrate prosperity. So as a reminder, what have we learned are the ways to demonstrate prosperity right now? Well, first, it starts with a purification, a release, an elimination step. That's using what Catherine Ponder calls the vacuum law of prosperity. We have to create the space so that it can be filled. And we do that through forgiveness work, through release work, through writing out our elimination list, right? All of those wonderful practices that she writes about in chapter 2. Then she takes us through several methods of how to create prosperity mentally first, because we know it all begins in mind. As I love to say, the mental work is the work. And so we talked about creating our prosperity mentally first through writing, right, and creating certain lists and using the power of our writing. We talked about creating prosperity mentally first through pictures, through images and imaging and visualization, right? I was thinking about it today. It's interesting. There are certain teachers that kind of focus on certain things. So if you study Neville Goddard's work is all about that one thing, really, right? And so you could just live your life using visualization and using imaging and pictures in that way and prosper. Then we talked about creating prosperity mentally first through the spoken word. One of the things that keeps coming back to me, and I want to keep reminding you of it, that you should be spending 5 minutes speaking aloud and affirming that which you desire for every 15 minutes of reading and studying. There's the wonderful story of the man who is just like all of us, part of a metaphysical church, coming to service every week, doing all of the things, reading, meditating, but he hadn't been affirming his good. And so that's where that wisdom comes forth, that for every 15 minutes of study, you must affirm out loud that the prosperity that is, right? And it could be something as simple as affirming, I am prosperous, right? Or you can use many of the other wonderful affirmations that Catherine Ponder gives us.
It's so important because we don't realize the power of the voice, the energy behind the voice and what it does. And maybe it's my background and that's what makes it seem more powerful to me. But as Catherine Ponder says, the voice is the way in which you gather the gold.
Yep.
It's that vehicle, that sound, that energy that flows on that vibration of the voice is what gathers it to you. And so we're not just saying these things because they're nice practices to do. We're saying them because they're true and they're nice practices to do.
Absolutely.
And so remember the vibration of the voice, because you're using the vibration of the voice all day long. In the ways that you talk with your friends or whatever you're doing, that sound wave goes out and must return to you based on what you're offering up using this powerful vehicle called the voice.
Yes. Chapter 7, Prosperity Through the Divine Plan. People have sometimes said your basic formula for demonstrating prosperity, as given in the first 6 chapters of this book, which we just outlined, is great for people who know what they want out of life, but I don't know what I want. So how can I demonstrate it? There is a special way you can manifest your heritage of unlimited good by calling the divine plan of your life into expression. The great truth is that there is a divine plan for your life, and that divine plan is the sublime plan. It includes health, happiness, abundance, and perfect self-expression. I want to say this now at the outset, and we'll continue to double down on this reality. The reason why I said at the beginning of service, surrender, and that reading on surrender is so, I think, apropos to this lesson, because this is what we're really talking about. See, we can write out our list and write down all the things that we want, and that's a level of consciousness, right? We unknowingly may be treating the universe like, hopefully not Santa Claus, but at least like a Amazon shopping list, right? And that's wonderful, right? We need to learn that works. But in truth, we can graduate, I use that word lightly, we can elevate to another expression and experience, letting go of control, the sense of control, the illusion of control, as the daily word reading said today, and embrace surrender, which is extraordinary trust. And so no longer do I have to name all of these things. No longer do I have to create this whole list. No longer do I have to put all these things in the cart, right? But actually, I can just put one thing in the cart. Name one thing, the divine plan. Why? Because what is in the divine plan? And we've been talking about this since the beginning. What is prosperity? As Catherine Ponder defines it, happiness, health, peace, and plenty in our world, right? What is complete prosperity? Happiness, radiant health, success, and money. It includes health, happiness, abundance, and perfect self-expression. And so that may be fearful to many of you, particularly depending on how your concept of God is evolving, that you may still think you need to really tell God what the things are that you need. But what we're getting into now, I think it helps 2 groups of people. There are those that she writes about here that may not be able to name specifically what they want. So how can you demonstrate? This is appropriate. But I also believe and know that this is really that opportunity to now live in extraordinary trust, because you recognize that the only thing I ever need to really be definite with the infinite about is the divine plan. And that's always health, happiness, abundance, and perfect self-expression.
Absolutely. And I love that this chapter, she begins by talking about you don't have to know what it is. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do get to this point. They've listened to us for years, maybe. Mm-hmm. And they are like, well, I don't know what I want. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know that there is something. Of course there is something. Mm-hmm. Because this sublime plan, this plan that is elevated, is already alive in you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't require you to get or do more to have it. Mm-hmm. But you do become aware that there is something within you operating and moving you in the direction of your highest good. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is all about. Mm-hmm. You don't have to know. You maybe didn't even think you had a plan until today.
Yes. As you begin to dwell upon the divine plan, you will attract to yourself the ideas, opportunities, events, and people that are meant to be part of your life, right? And so then that's the flow, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're starting to work with and co-create with life in a beautiful way. You begin to express the art of allowing. You do not have to try to figure out what the ideas, opportunities, or events are to be. The how is not your business. Instead, you simply dwell on your divine plan and let it unfold people, places, and things to you. But again, that requires that trust. This is why this is about surrender.
It requires a trust. And I say, if you didn't even know until today you had a plan, maybe what you focus on is that I have a plan. Mm-hmm. There is a plan for my life.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't have to know what it is, but there is a plan. Mm-hmm.
This is the easy way to pray and demonstrate your good. That's the other thing. In truth, surrendering to Source extraordinary trust, this is the easy way, y'all.
I know it feels hard.
Right? To give up control, to operate, as Jesus said, it is not I, but the Father within me that does the work. Right? Apart from the Father, I can do nothing. That's the easy way, because it's like, I don't have to worry about it, think about, I don't have to, muster up some special energy. It's God in me that does the work. It really is the easy way.
And in truth, we've all operated from that posture at some time in our life. We just didn't do it consistently. We didn't even realize that's what we were doing when we were in the flow, and it felt like, oh, I need to call this person. I need to go there. It just moved easily.
Yeah.
But when you begin to try to control it or decide how it moves, that's when you get yourself into trouble.
Yep. This is the easy way to straighten out events and situations in your own life, as well as to pray for other people. Simply affirm that the divine plan is coming forth in any given situation, knowing it will be the sublime plan and will include the greatest good of all concerned. The results will usually amaze you. Charles Fillmore explained why in his book Prosperity. It is the divine plan that all expression or demonstration shall come through the gateway of humanity's mind. I know a man who was suffering the agony of an unhappy marriage and divorce problems, indebtedness, confusion, and a limited income, but who went from that to a brand new job, filled with self-expression, at double his previous income, a happy new marriage, peace of mind, increased health, and a whole new lease on life, after he began affirming the divine plan at an apparently hopeless period in his life. This transformation came within just 6 months. Some of the prayer statements he used daily, which helped bring about these results, were, I now release everything and everybody that are no longer part of the divine plan of my life. Everything and everybody that are no longer part of the divine plan of my life, now release me. You might remember this statement because this was a statement that was also present in chapter 2 with the release work. Another statement, I now let go and let God unfold the divine plan of my life. I am now attuned to the divine plan of my life. I now cooperate with the divine plan of my life. Christ in me now manifests the divine plan of my life quickly and in peace. What I love about that, I now cooperate with the divine plan, because you may be thinking, as she's telling us, oh, well, ideas and opportunities and people, well, what if I don't recognize it? Well, what if I ignore the idea? Or what if I don't know it's a sign from God, right? This is how you can know. You command your mind to cooperate with the divine plan. You command your mind to see the divine plan, to see the divine opportunities. That's what the power of that one little sentence is. I now recognize, here it is again, accept and follow the divine plan of my life as it is revealed to me. Right? See, you're commanding your mind, because that's what we're doing, y'all. Right? When we affirm these things, it's the equivalent of installing a program or an app on your phone or on your computer, right? A program is simply a set of instructions, right? And so that's what you're doing. You're installing this program into the computer of your mind. I now recognize, accept, and follow the divine plan of my life as it is revealed to me step by step. I rejoice in the divine plan, which is the sublime plan, and which includes health, wealth, happiness, and perfect self-expression for me now.
There's so much in this affirmation. So much good in this affirmation. As you said, recognize, I've installed this new program. I accept it, and then I follow. Many times we know we've gotten some insight, inspiration to do something, and we don't, because we're still in the fear, doubt, and worry of it all. But this is saying I can accept and follow this plan because it's the sublime plan. Are you tapping into the word sublime? That means this extraordinary plan that's beyond anything I've ever imagined plan.
That feels good and
that
it's peaceful.
Feels good and peaceful and easy. As she says that, quickly and in peace. She talks about that throughout the text, all of her text. She says quickly and in peace. I love that because sometimes we think it has to take forever and be arduous.
Right. Yep.
It doesn't.
Yep.
But when you get the insight, it feels easy.
Yeah.
Easy to follow, easy, simple next steps. All of that is in this particular affirmation, but she talks about that a lot if you read a lot of her work.
And the other thing I love here is the last sentence, the divine sublime plan, which includes. So if you find yourself having to continue to remind yourself of what the plan is,
The sublime plan.
What the divine plan is, the sublime plan, like what it is, right? Because we can keep talking about complete prosperity is happiness, health, success, and money. We can keep talking about Catherine Ponder, happiness, peace, and plenty in our world, right? Health, wealth, happiness, and perfect self-expression. But it may be good to remind your mind, like, don't just affirm the divine plan as this abstract general thing. So you can name these, include what is included in the divine plan, right? I think that's very important and helpful as you move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not so much detail that you're trying to orchestrate
It's not
or
outlining.
manipulate.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying health. You're saying wealth, happiness,
Mm-hmm.
perfect self-expression for me. Right? So sometimes, right, you might need to give the mind, not God, please remember that.
Yeah.
You're not giving God the direction.
It's all for you.
You're setting up your mind in such a way that it understands these are the areas and more.
The easy way to unfold your good. I first read the phrase divine plan in Florence Scovel Shinn's, Florence Shinn's, but y'all know it's Florence Scovel Shinn, book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. She was an artist from a prominent Philadelphia family who became a metaphysician in New York City many years ago. Mrs. Shinn believed that the spoken word of truth released the answer to every problem, and she had an affirmation to use for every situation. Proof that she was successful in helping people is shown in the popularity of her books, which contain many accounts of the affirmations given and the results obtained by those who sought her help. There are many people in the world today who do not know what they want to do with their lives. If they would daily declare the divine plan for themselves, they would not have had to know specifically. They would unfold into it naturally.
Right. So we're using divine plan as an overarching umbrella. You don't have to know everything that's in it. But as you begin to affirm divine plan, divine plan, divine plan, divine sublime plan, it begins to unfold. So relax in that knowing.
Yeah. And to bring this up to a little bit of modern expression, this is what Abraham refers to as the vortex. Same thing. Right. And that's why Abraham Hicks is always reminded, it's in your vortex. Everything you want is in your vortex. Right. In the sense that you don't have to name all of this stuff. You don't have to outline. You don't have to create lists because it's already in your vortex. The vortex is the divine plan. Right. Same exact thing. So for those of you that listen to and study Abraham, you can understand it in that way and maybe even use, if vortex resonates for you in that context, you could use that as the thing that you're affirming. As a divine plan.
Absolutely. And the vortex, you start to put things in it unconsciously.
Right.
You're like, oh, I like that. You don't get out and start writing down. You just, as you live your life, you begin to
inevitably, unconsciously,
putting things in there. Sometimes it's things you don't want, but once you become aware, you can replace it with other things.
Yeah. Each of us comes forth on this earth plane with a divine plan for our life wrapped up within our soul nature. This divine plan longs to manifest for us. Calling on it releases it. It matters not what age you are, how long you have lived, what you have done or have not done with your life. It will begin daily if you will begin daily to declare the divine plan for your life, it will lead you to your good. The author's childhood sense of a divine plan. If parents would affirm the divine plan for their children when they are small or even prenatally, there would be no confusion or uncertainty about the children's future. Just I'm going to pause right there. All of the little ones, right? All of the little ones in your life, those big souls, right? You can just begin to affirm, don't, put the presidency on them or put, you're going to be a lawyer, don't do that. Just affirm the divine plan and trust and allow that beautiful unfolding. Each child would be intuitively guided into the divine plan of their life, and their parents would recognize that plan and be in agreement with it. From my own childhood experience, I'm convinced that there is a divine plan implanted in us prenatally. Even as a small girl, I had a sense of destiny. I recall taking long walks in the woods when the weeds were still higher than I was. In those quiet times, I would often literally ponder my future. I had a strong feeling even then that there was something special and different that I was supposed to do with my life. I intuitively knew, even at that early age, that I was to serve humanity in some way. I often wondered if I was to do so as a teacher, nurse, or doctor. It was years later that my special calling became apparent, that of a minister and writer in the metaphysical field. If I had known how to affirm the divine plan for my life at that early age, or if someone else had known how to do so for me, it may have accelerated my unfoldment into my life work considerably. How a housewife manifested the divine plan for her life. A certain housewife had always wanted a large family of children, but after giving birth to her first child, her doctor informed her that her health would not allow her to have any more children. When her daughter grew up, the mother became very restless and wanted to do something more with her life, but she did not know what. Then she learned that there is a divine plan for every person's life. In meditation, she prayed, "Father, if you have a divine plan for my life, show me what it is. Help me to know it and to do it." After praying in this way, she relaxed and stopped straining for her good. I think this is important. I want to say this because, as you all know, we always teach and talk about prayer. Is not talking to God. It's not bargaining, beseeching, right? We wouldn't actually teach a help prayer. But what's important here is that after she prayed in this way, she relaxed and stopped straining. So these were the words that supported her in moving to the space of relaxation, to moving into the space of no strain, right? Which is the purpose of prayer, right? It's not for God, it's to shift us. And so those were the words that supported her in getting to that feeling tone and space that's required to then demonstrate, as we will see she did. Soon the minister of her church called and asked her to work in the Sunday school. This request thrilled her because she loved working with children. It was as though her desire for a large family was being satisfied. She continued to affirm the divine plan for her life and soon met an old college friend whose husband was a school principal. The friend asked, "Don't you have a degree in science?" She did. The friend said, "My husband is always looking for science teachers. Right now, he is desperate for a physics teacher." A few days later, this woman was hired as a substitute teacher in the school. She returned to college at night and during the summer and took additional courses. She loved teaching. She loved children. This proved to be the divine plan for her life. She found that when she began to affirm the divine plan for her life, it took away the confusion, uncertainty, and sense of mistakes.
I love that because we all have been in that place of confusion, uncertainty, and sense of mistakes that right where I am, I don't know how I got here, or where I am, I don't like, and it feels like a mistake. And so if we can just ease up on ourselves, be more compassionate with ourselves, and begin to affirm there is a divine plan. I love the language of show me, because you're really speaking to that higher sense of self to show you.
God in you, right.
The God in you, to show you what it is. And here's the beautiful thing that I laugh at many times when I reread this. She had a desire for a large family, but she didn't have to have the financial burden of one. She didn't have to have all of the things that come along with that desire, that responsibility. You see what I mean? She was able to get everything she wanted without some things that she might have been unconscious of that would have gone along with those things that she thought she wanted. And so it's beautiful. The divine plan is always the easy plan, the aligned plan, the perfect plan.
Yep. How to clear the wrong people out of your life. Many people are striving for things or situations in life which are not right for them. Many are even striving for people who do not belong to them. A woman asked a spiritual counselor to affirm that she would marry a certain man. The counselor replied that she could not speak the word in this way because that man might not be a part of the divine plan of the woman's life. Instead, the counselor affirmed that the next step in her divine plan might manifest, that the people, places, and things which were a part of this plan might manifest quickly and in peace. There it is again. And that everything and everybody else might fade out of her life and find their good elsewhere. This is already awesome, and I hope this is speaking to someone today. Though the woman continued to see the man for a time socially, nothing happened. As she continued dwelling on the divine plan, she met another man who quickly fell in love with her. They were soon married. This woman later realized that she had previously been striving for someone who was not right for her. If you have to force someone or something into your life that is not part of your if you have to force someone or something into your life that is not part of your good, what you fight to get, you must fight to keep. Lord, if that ain't a word, if that ain't a word, that ain't a word. And here's the thing, you can replace fight with a lot of different things, right? Strive, stress, strain, hustle, grind. What you hustle to get, what you grind to get, you must hustle and grind to keep. That's the teaching. That's like a reap what you sow, cause and effect teaching. And that's why we want you to embrace the easy way.
Absolutely.
In relationships, in career, and all of the above.
And you know, the thing, we've been hustling and grinding for so long, we don't even enjoy the ease when it comes.
Right, you can't.
We don't know how.
Because you got to fight to keep it.
Right, because it doesn't even feel right to our nervous system for it to be easy, for it to flow, for it to be just good. And so if you're in that posture, your nervous system will not accept the reality of what you bring into it if it's not easy, right? So no hustling and no grinding to get it, no grinding to keep it.
I'm seeing that word in the comments. What you sacrifice to get, you must sacrifice to keep.
Yep.
Right?
Any other words out there that you could replace it with? Put them in the comments.
Think about it, right? And again, it's such a powerful teaching, because then you can start to understand why the outcomes you may have experienced in the past, why they feel the way that they do. This is the reason why a lot of people complain about being entrepreneurs. Oh, it's so terrible. It's so hard. Oh, you don't understand, right? I see all these social posts, about the life of an entrepreneur. And it's like, well, right, what you hustle to get, then you have to hustle to keep.
And it's not that you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. It's the energy under which you enter it.
Yes.
Is the energy that you will experience in it. Right? And this is not the universe punishing you. It's just showing you what you believe and the energy that you're operating in. If you're sacrificing to get it, you're going to have to sacrifice to keep it.
Lord have mercy.
That's a good one. That's a whole word. Anybody else? That's good.
But when you affirm the divine plan, those people and situations that are not a part of it begin to move out of your life. I'll just say this as well. This is, and y'all have heard me say this before, right? A lot of times we hear people, motivational speakers and others talk about this idea of, you're going to have to lose to win, and you're going to have to cut people off, where you're trying to get, other people can't go. And so there's this energy of cutting people out and cutting people off willfully and intentionally, sometimes even spitefully. It's not necessary, right? And so this is what's beautiful. If you affirm the divine plan, then you allow the plan to do the work, right? So you allow people will fade in and out of your life with ease. You won't have to do anything. And my life has proven that over and over and over and over again, right? I don't have to cut people off. I don't have to cut people out, right? Life takes care of that as long as I'm focused on the divine plan. As you continue affirming the divine plan, those people and situations that are a part of it find their way into your life easily and naturally, unattended by fuss or bother. This is the easy way to live life successfully. Right. Easy way, y'all. Easy way. Easy way. Easy way.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I remember there was a sermon I preached years ago. In the song, The Wiz, what's the main theme? Ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load? See, this is the opportunity of how we can live, right? It's the opposite of hustle and grind. And that theme is there throughout the entire story, because it's teaching a lesson, right? That ultimately Dorothy doesn't get to the very end. This is the easy way, y'all.
And that's what we want. We say we want ease, but we're not used to it yet. So you got to do some internal house cleaning to get yourself ready for it. We say we want peace, and then when it shows up, we don't know what to do with that. We say we want money, and when it shows up, we don't know what to do with it. And so there's also something built into the divine plan that I like to think about and talk about. It's called grace. Grace is built in. It gives you an opportunity to move, eliminate those ideas and beliefs that have been holding you back from seeing the divine plan, following it, living it. Grace is built in. Grace is built in.
Yeah. A young woman had been in love with a man, but he had not proposed marriage to her. So friends persuaded her to transfer her affections to someone else. She practically promised to marry the second man, but against her better judgment. When the man she really loved moved out of her life, she felt very concerned. She did not feel right about the second man whom her friends favored. One day, she shared her concerns with a friend who was a truth student. The friend said, "The way to solve this dilemma is simply to affirm that the divine plan for your life is manifesting now, quickly and in peace.
Always add
Then
that
watch
phrase.
and see what happens." Right? That's how you solve a dilemma. It's also good to have friends that are truth students.
As opposed to
That's
just
why
out here in the mess.
Right. That's why we work in community. Right. Right. And so then you don't tell your friends what to do in that sense, right? You remind their mind about the divine plan.
Right.
As she began doing this, an interesting thing happened. The man who her friends favored faded out of her life quickly, and the man she really loved reappeared, and they were soon married. The flow of events convinced her friends that they had been wrong in their choice. And that really don't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
Later,
You might be pissed off at you might be upset with the friends that tried to tell you to do the wrong.
Later, she said to her friend, "I would have married the wrong man had he not released me and left. But when he departed, the right man reappeared again." The friend reminded her that affirming the divine plan had cleared out of her life the man who was not right for her, and had brought the right one back into her life at just the right time. That's how it works. Apply this to all things. This is not just about relationships, right? The divine plan often brings changes.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing new about this idea. Plato knew there was a divine plan for humanity's life. He called it the divine design. Here's another.
I love divine design. It's my favorite.
Florence Scovel Shinn uses that, taking the word from Plato, right? Mm-hmm. The divine design, and said, everything changes according to a divine design. We live in transition. The one thing you must be prepared for when you start calling on the divine plan is transition and change. Nearly every one of us has wandered away from the divine plan of their life. When you begin to dwell upon the divine plan, you may find changes taking place in your life very quickly. Instead of resisting and resenting them, recognize them for what they are, part of your divine plan, which can only lead you to expanded good if you will let it. A businesswoman began affirming the divine plan of her life. So many changes came about so quickly, it was as though a cyclone had struck her affairs. But new and wonderful conditions took the place of the old, dissatisfying ones. The prayer statement she used daily was, "I am fully equipped for the divine plan of my life.
Yes.
I am more than equal to the situation as I expand quickly into that divine plan."
Right. That's where you speak to that fear and that doubt and that worry. Now, you don't try to push through the fear, mm-hmm. but you do transmute it by affirming these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How to free yourself from an old cycle. Most of us want freedom from something. Often we have completed a cycle in our growth and progress, but we do not know how to become free from that old cycle so as to progress in new ways. Usually we have learned what we can from a given set of circumstances. We have given what we could to those circumstances, yet we remain in them not knowing how to free ourselves. Speaking the word for the divine plan begins to free us of worn out circumstances, experiences, and relationships of the past or present. From a business standpoint, instead of worrying about your job, your business, or your firm, speak the word for its divine plan to manifest. Affirm that the divine plan for that business or organization may manifest quickly, and it will. Whenever you need guidance about people or events, declare that the divine plan is manifesting in these situations or in the lives of those people. You may be amazed at how quickly things will right themselves. Right? I think this is beautiful and powerful. I know we have many entrepreneurs and business owners in our community. This is how you privately use these principles to lead and guide you as you lead and guide your businesses, your companies, your organizations. A businessman found himself at the end of an old cycle, but did not seem able to free himself from it. He had been widowed for some time and wished to remarry, but felt it would probably be necessary to get into a new environment and set of circumstances before that would happen. He had shared his life with his wife in these present circumstances, and he thought their mutual friends would resist the idea of his marrying anyone else. He had gone as far as he could in his present job, both financially and in the expression of his talents. He had grown restless and needed new worlds to conquer, but he seemed held by old memories, relationships, and circumstances and did not know how to free himself from them. One day he attended a class in metaphysical instruction for the first time. The teacher declared that there was a divine plan for each one in the class. She said that the divine plan was unfolding for each one and that each would recognize their divine plan as it began to work out. Her positive words of assurance gave this man hope. He joined the others at the end of each class period when they affirmed, "There is a divine plan for my life. That divine plan is unfolding for me now." Simple, succinct, to the point. At first, nothing seemed to happen when he affirmed this, but he did begin to feel better and more hopeful. That's the first manifestation.
That's the first manifestation.
Right. Something did happen.
Something did happen. See, that's part of our challenge is we're looking for these big external things to happen. The shift had already taken place and the answer was already yes. He was already feeling good.
Yep. As he continued attending the class, he met a businessman from a nearby town and they became friends. They discovered that they wished to go into the same kind of business, but each needed a partner. Each felt that an old cycle of activity was over for him and that he wanted to launch forth into new experiences. This man daily declared, "Nothing can hinder the divine plan of my life. No one can delay the divine plan of my life. What God has given me cannot be diminished." Yes.
There's some good affirmations in this chapter.
In a matter of months, this previously unhappy man had concluded his old business affairs and moved to the nearby town where he went into business with his new partner. Together, they continued affirming the divine plan for their lives and for their new business. I don't know why I didn't highlight this because this is a teaching moment. And we've talked about this before, right? They continue to affirm the divine plan. See, some of y'all are in this man's circumstances, and so you move. So it's like, okay, I'm good. I got it now. No, continue to affirm the divine plan for your life and for your business.
Because then you understand that the divine plan isn't some destination.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a complete unfolding of your life moment by moment, step by step, breath by breath. It's a way of living. The divine plan was always in place for every life. I think back to what she said, Catherine Ponder, as a child. She always believed it. I did too. I didn't know why. I just knew. Right? And I think most of us, when we were children, we knew that we were connected to something so grand. And then experiences happened. And we forgot.
Yeah.
God didn't forget. It was in you already.
Not only did this new business flourish, but within the year, this previously lonely widower happily married a fine woman who was also affirming the divine plan. One business organization decided to test the prospering power of affirming the divine plan. Its board of trustees began affirming the divine plan at their business meetings. They quickly observed a new surge of growth in business, which brought increased prosperity. New people appeared who wanted to help carry the business forward into expansion. This happened as the trustees affirmed through the divine plan, this business now moves forward into its expanded good. And I want to show y'all this. I don't know if you can fully see it because it's not in focus. This is a $1 million bill, and written on this on a sticky is through the divine plan, CSC now moves forward into its expanded good. We have this sitting here in front of us every Sunday because we continue and have always affirmed the divine plan for the growth and unfoldment of CSC.
And if it's the plan for CSC, then it's your plan as well.
Hey. How to pray successfully. I think we'll end on this section. How to pray successfully for yourself and others. It is good to affirm for others, "I release you to the divine plan of your life. Christ in you reveals to you the divine plan. You unfold into it quickly and in peace." So often we have mistakenly advised others of what we felt they should do and have carried heavy emotional burdens as a result, when our only responsibility was to affirm the divine plan for them and let them unfold their good in their own way. The easy way. Declare often for yourself, "Christ in me now reveals, unfolds, and manifests the divine plan of my life quickly and in peace." One man's life was transformed after he prayed, "Father, if you have a divine plan for my personal life, show me what it is. Draw to me the people who belong in my life now and unite me with them." Now, the thing I love about that section particularly, because, everybody is looking for advice, and everybody has some kind of advice from time to time. But in truth, you don't have to give people advice. She told us in the other story, the young woman, she had a friend who was a truth student, and the truth student affirmed and pointed her to the divine plan. And it's like, I can know that truth with you, right? That I know that there is a divine plan for your life. The divine plan is a sublime plan. And I affirm with you that it unfolds now quickly and in peace.
It's a lot simpler than we make it, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I love that phrase. Complexity is of the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Why would God create a world in which it was supposed to be so hard for you to receive its divine plan that's already implanted in you?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. This also echoes the story where she talked about the woman who her nephew was in need of healing, right? And what she needed to do, she gave a practice of using pictures and affirmations, but essentially what she was doing was putting her heart and mind on the divine plan, right? Taking her mind off of the how or what should happen, how it happened, and ultimately putting herself in a place of peace, right? And also not having this, she uses the words here, but not living in this burdensome place of emotional responsibility, right, for someone's entire life or some specific circumstance in everyone's life. Yeah.
And that applies to your children. It applies any place where you feel like you're taking on the burden for that person's life. Please let that go.
Yep.
Because it's too heavy and you don't have to carry it.
You absolutely do not. You do not. So,
this is a good chapter, y'all, and I hope you will enjoy reading it more than one time that we're telling you to.
Yes.
Because there's such powerful, good, truth-filling, inspiring, uplifting in this chapter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's more goodness in the chapter, and of course a summary at the end. So please complete the chapter and reread it. Come back to the stream, hear our words, and hear our insights and expansion on some of the pieces there. But we're excited to continue. We'll move forward with chapter 9 next week. Excuse me. And continue to prosper. Remember, if you have questions, send those questions in to truthsunday@celebrationsc.org. And as we are starting to near the end of this chapter, and I'm seeing powerful comments and shares, send us an email. Let us know how prosperity is unfolding in your life. We know that there's some powerful and profound things that are happening as a result of you doing this work with us this summer. And we want to share that. That's one of the ways we're going to close out this masterclass as we've done in the past. We want to share some of those beautiful, powerful stories. So you can send those in to truthsunday@celebrationsc.org. Well, in this moment, it is time for giving. And you all know how we teach giving here at CSC and what giving is all about. As you give, you receive. What does that mean? Not as the amount you give, you will receive. It's the consciousness behind your giving is what you receive. If you give from a place of obligation, it goes actually back to the thing we just read, right? If you fight to get something, then you have to fight to keep it. It's the same principle over and over again. So when you give out of obligation, then you're going to find yourself always living in that space as it relates to money, right? It's going to be conditional, right? If you give from a place of fear, if you give from robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? You're going to constantly be in that vibration of robbing Peter to pay Paul. But if you give from a place of God first, God is my source. Everything else is a resource. And God is an unending source that always supplies. God is my supply and abundance of everything now. When you give from that place, then you must receive all of that and more. And that is the space that we encourage you to give from and to think from as you're giving. Now, it's very easy to give to CSC. You can go to our website, celebrationsc.org/give, or you can text your dollar amount to the number you see there on your screen, 347-744-9500. There is a $10 minimum for the text to give service. No matter which method you choose to give and no matter which amount you choose to give, it is important to keep the consciousness behind giving first and foremost. And so we affirm together this truth. All the money that I circulate
returns
to me multiplied in a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. To that we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yes, yes. Well, we have come to the end of our service today, and it is the third Sunday, which means that it is God Talk Sunday. So we look forward to seeing many of you in the Zoom session this afternoon. We start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We start right on time, so make sure you join in at least 5 minutes early. Get settled. You have some time. You can go, of course, get your bathroom breaks in, but you can get your snack break in, whatever you want to do, and be with us. Again, no question is off limits. The God Talk is real. It is raw. It is healing. It is loving. It is amazing in so many different ways.
But you got to be in the space
to ask the question.
And
so if you're just hearing about this, let me put this back on the screen. If you're just hearing about this and you want the link, you got to join our mailing list. So if you text welcome to this phone number, 347-472-1078, click the link, enter your information. You'll receive a text that says you're all set. Then go to your inbox and you'll see you have an email with the God Talk 2025 Zoom link and password. Again, we're excited about the Masterclass. We're excited about life. We're excited about CSC. We're excited about all of the powerful things that are happening through and as your lives. We trust that you will enjoy the remainder of your Sunday. Have an amazing week. We look forward to gathering together on Wednesday for the Momentum Prayer Call. And then we'll be back together next Sunday for Healing Sunday. And of course, to continue with the Masterclass. Bye for now.
Bye for now.